Hi, my name is Blake and welcome to Blake's Aquatics. Today I've got a really interesting video to show you how to get the best out of your frozen foods. Let's jump straight into the video. So to get started, I've got a few cheap and easy to acquire items which you'll need to pick up. So the first thing you're going to want to pick up is readily available online, and it's a silicone small ice cube mold. This one in particular is 160 cubes, 16 by 10, and the good thing about these are that they're easy to find, they're super cheap, and they'll last a really long time. The next thing we're going to want is a dedicated pouring jug, one that isn't going to be washed with detergents and other things that may pose a bit of a safety risk to your fish. And finally, you're going to want to find a local fish store or maybe even a wholesaler that will sell large sheets of frozen foods such as bloodworms. You can get sheets of Daphnia, Cyclops, brine shrimp and other foods as well, but the main thing here is we're going to just put in some of the labor effort ourselves instead of paying a premium for a product that has incorporated that into the sorting and processing into those little cubes that we're familiar with. So to get started, we're going to crush up our big sheet into as many little pieces as we can and place it in our pouring jug just to defrost. I'm a bit of an impatient guy, so I like to hasten up this process with two simple tricks. The first is to place some aquarium water in here. It's not going to do anything really bad, it'll just dilute the product a little bit. And also I like to sit it from the handle in the tank just so that it can keep the temperature there. Be mindful that you're not going to want to do it in a very small tank because the frozen food will lower the temperature of that tank. But for a tank this size, this much frozen food is not going to be a big issue. Now it's just a simple matter of playing the waiting game until this process is finished. You can make use of this time now. If you haven't rinsed your silicone mold already, just give it a quick rinse just at the tap. Whilst we're waiting, I want to provide you with a little bit of a bonus use for these ice cube trays. If you're like me and you hatch baby brine shrimp daily, it can be a great way to preserve some just for a rainy day or in case something goes wrong. So every now and then, instead of feeding a batch to the tanks, I actually just take my turkey baster and fill up one of these molds. That way I just have the confidence to know I've got some there just in case, or if it's a quiet period in the fish room and I've only got a need for 1 or 2 cubes, then it will save me having to hatch a big batch of brine shrimp every single day. Okay, so it's all dissolved now, which means there's basically 3 options from which we can proceed. Either we can pour it straight into the ice cube mold, we can skim some of the water off the top and what we'll call bloodworm juice, and the third option is to bulk it out. For me, I really want to get more confidence that my pea puffers are going to eat the Hikari vibrobites, so given that bloodworms and vibrobites are in the same sort of ballpark, I'm actually going to bulk this one out with Hikari vibrobites. When I do put these pellets in, I'm going to be aiming to work very fast, mainly because I don't want them to go all soggy, more so than they're going to be. I want this mixture to sort of get frozen as soon as I can once I put the pellets in. If you've never seen Hikari vibrobites before and you're wondering why I would say they're in the same ballpark as bloodworms, here's an idea of what they look like, and they are pretty much designed to look like bloodworms. So because I added the aquarium water to speed up the process, I am going to skim a little bit of this off the top as well. I'm not saving that juice to make it into a coffee or anything later. It's just easier than pouring it outside. So if you are trying to get fish onto a food, say for example I had a particular flake or pellet, you can use that bloodworm juice and soak the pellets in it for a period of time first, and that will hopefully trigger a feeding frenzy with your fish. So there's a second bonus tip for you today. So I've put the vibrobites in now and I'm just going to give it a bit of a stir just to get everything mixed up. The thing about this now, you want to keep it moving, don't let it settle when you're pouring it. So we're going to start in the center so that it doesn't really matter if it flows outwards, and we're going to use our turkey baster to spread the worms around. I don't recommend doing this on the kitchen bench or around any of your family members, just because you probably won't be allowed to do it again. So here we have it. Ended up filling up 1.5 trays there, and it was about half of a slab of those bloodworms. So I think 3 trays per sheet of frozen foods will be a good amount, but keep in mind that I did bulk it out with the pellets on this occasion. So it's straight into the freezer with these, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow so I can show you how it's going to come out. Okay guys, so it's the next day now, and we've got a few ingredients just to finish off the process. We've got our pouring jug once again, we've got a Ziploc bag, a container will also work for that, and we've got our finished product, which is frozen bloodworm and Hikari Vibrobite combo. So we'll just go along now and sort of manipulate the silicone mold just to separate all the cubes. It's easier to pull it down like this than to try and push it together. As you can see, it's not the most difficult process in the world. And then from there, we're just going to push them out and get them into this pouring container. Now, it's not really necessary if you don't have a container, but it's just a lot less fiddly than trying to pour it straight into the Ziploc bag. If you're finding some that are pretty stubborn, it's a good idea to just sit the mold on top of the container like this and run your finger along here, and it will just push them out as you go by. Okay, so there we have all of our finished cubes, and now it's just a matter of pouring these into a Ziploc bag. If you're like me and you're pretty forgetful, you can actually portion these out. So if I knew, for example, I use about 30 cubes when I feed the fish room, then I could just put 30 cubes per bag, and that way I don't have to remember to put it back in the freezer after I bring out a big bag of fish food, because that's something that's definitely happened to me before, and unfortunately I've wasted a lot of product just because I got complacent and forgot to put it back in the freezer. So there you have it guys, there's the final product here. As you can see, really nice and neat and super customizable. Yeah, you can basically make anything you want into nice neat little cubes to be able to feed your fish. So there you go guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I can try and save you a few dollars in your fish room. If you did like this video, please like, subscribe and all that fun stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.